Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Sunday afternoon. Arsenal have just won 1-0 against Crystal Palace in the Premier League. It's a weekend where Liverpool have lost, Chelsea have lost, Man City have lost. I'm recording this before Everton versus Tottenham. It couldn't happen it couldn't be the perfect weekend, could it? Who knows? We'll find out very, very soon. But from an Arsenal point of view, from a title race point of view, if you can even call anything a title race at this stage of the season, but you know what I mean. It has been a brilliant weekend. Rivals have slipped up and Arsenal have won. It was a tight game against a very good, very well disciplined, dangerous Crystal Palace side who had their moments. I thought they were probably the better team for a lot of the first half, but Arsenal found a way to win, which they are just doing at the moment. They are finding ways to win. Again, it came from a set piece. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show, but it came from a set piece. It was a moment of individual brilliance. So it wasn't a classic, a header, all that. So it was a moment of individual brilliance from a player who was signed to do that exact thing in the summer. And it's a fabulous win. It's a brilliant win. I don't care if people are going to moan about it. I don't care if rival fans are going to be like, oh, it's a set piece again. I couldn't care less. If we win every game between now and the end of the season like that, I will be absolutely delighted. And so will all the hundreds of thousands of Arsenal fans who will be celebrating on the streets of North London in May if we get the job done. So we're going to talk about that in today's show. Obviously, this is this sort of immediate post-match reaction show. I'll do the more in-depth one tomorrow where I'll be talking about what Mikel Arteta's had to say post-match, look at some of the big sort of talking points. And there are big talking points. You know, there were some downsides to this. Arsenal have lost Declan Rice to injury during the second half. Bukayo Saka went off. We'll find out what happened with him as well. Gabriel Martinelli apparently limped down the tunnel after full time as well, and he'd only come on as a second half substitute for Bukayo Saka. So there are injury issues to be looked at, and we'll talk about that in tomorrow's show. And if you want to get involved in tomorrow's show, give me your thoughts on the result, the performance, who stood out, who impressed you, all that sort of stuff. Drop your comments down into the comment section below. Give me your opinions. I'll pull something together as I always do and get them included in tomorrow's reaction show. But for today, it's all about the win and three lovely, beautiful, valuable Premier League points. They were given to Arsenal, of course, by Eberechi Eze against his former club. It had to happen. It happens all the time in football. The way the scripts are written, this sort of thing just happens. It's happened against Arsenal many a times when a former player has come back to haunt them. And on this occasion, a former player has come back to haunt Crystal Palace. It was a brilliant goal. A brilliant goal. And it came at a time when Arsenal hadn't started very well. The first half an hour was pretty scrappy. I thought Crystal Palace were a better team. You know, I think they'd had about 3 shots before Arsenal had their first shot. Well, I think Eze's goal was only the second shot Arsenal had. Trossard had a shot just before that. And that was the first time they'd tested the goalkeeper or got close really to the Palace goal. You know, I thought Palace were the better team early on. They settled into it. They weren't causing Arsenal too many problems, but Mateta was proving a handful for William Saliba. He was strong. He won a couple of duels with Saliba. There was a couple of threatening moments that Arsenal had to deal with. But they did gradually get into the game as the first half wore on. As I said, it was a nice little move that led to that Trossard chance when Gyökeres got in down the channel, just created a bit of space, worked the ball inside, Zubimendi to Rice. He found Trossard. Trossard's shot was saved, but that kind of sparked Arsenal into life a little bit. They were better from that point onwards, and the goal followed not soon after. Again, it was a set piece. It was whipped in. It was a corner, I think, a free kick from Declan Rice. Gabriel challenged straight at the back post. I think it was a Palace man who got his head to the ball, unfortunately, because it robbed Gabriel of an assist in fantasy Premier League. But he headed it out. And there was Eze just sort of beyond the penalty spot. And you can watch, if you see it on YouTube, you can see the picture of the technique. That was such a difficult chance to keep that down, to jump the way he did, to get the half volley and connect to it, and to find the corner through that crowd of players as well. It was a brilliant goal from Eze, who hadn't started the game very well. I didn't think he was being, space was an absolute premium. I thought he was struggling to really get into it. But for that moment alone, that's what he's been signed for Arsenal, that maverick type player who can just do something off the cuff that other players in this squad can't really do that well. And he did it today. He delivered for Arsenal at a really, really crucial time. It was a brilliant goal. A brilliant goal. And that gave Arsenal the lead at half-time, 1-0. Second half was a scrappier game. I thought this first couple of minutes, second half, I was looking at it, it's like, what's going to happen here? How is this going to go? Are Palace going to really sort of attack Arsenal? Are they going to open up? But then Arsenal just got really on top. They enjoyed their best sort of 20 minutes of the whole match, 25 minutes of the whole match. at the start of that second half. They really went for it to try and get that second goal, and they were so close on a couple of occasions. There was that sort of mad scramble in the box where it came from. I think it was a corner, whipped into the back post. Gabriel got his head on it, hit the bar, fell. Declan Rice brought it down, had a shot. Henderson made the save, really strong arm. And I think Trossard had a follow-up that was blocked, goal-bound shot that was blocked. Saka soon after had a shot left foot that he curled round. Would have been very similar to the goal he scored against Manchester United a few years ago. But he curled it just past the far post. Trossard then got in down the left-hand side. Lovely ball over the top. Trossard brought it down. Great first touch from Trossard, who I thought had a very good second half. Sort of the keeper came out. He tried to nick it. I don't think he could have got a shot away because the keeper was closing him down. So he nicked it to the right of the goalkeeper, hoping that Saka would have a tap in. But I think it was Gahey got back and cleared before Saka could put the ball in the net. And he felt at that point that there was a second goal coming, and Arsenal were really putting on the pressure, and Palace were creaking a little bit, but they couldn't find the goal. And then Palace started to grow back into the game again for the sort of from 70 minutes onwards. As Arsenal knew the second goal hadn't come, then it all started to get edgy a little bit. Players started to drop deeper. Arsenal started to get some injury issues. Saka went off. Martinelli came on. We don't know if that was an injury or what for Bukayo Saka. We'll find out fairly soon. By the time you're watching this, we might already know because I'm still waiting for Mikel to do his press conference. Declan Rice went down. Marino came on for Declan Rice. It's never a good sign when someone like Declan Rice goes down because normally he'll stay up and play play through the pain, but he couldn't do that today. So it all got a bit disrupted in that sort of the closing stages of the second half. And it was just about at that point, just keeping your heads. Don't do anything stupid. Defend really, really well. Fortunately, this is Arsenal. They know how to do that. They know how to defend really well. Didn't concede a shot on target again in this game. I think there was one that Raya had to make a save, but it was offside, so it doesn't go down as a shot on target. So that's 3 Premier League games in a row now without a shot on target for Arsenal conceded. It's just a remarkable stat. It had been 20 years since they'd gone 2 games without doing it, and now they've gone 3 games without doing it in the Premier League. That's unbelievable defensive work ethic. I saw someone on Twitter just before I started recording this, and it's not just about winning the first ball for Arsenal. It's about the sheer number of times that Arsenal win the second ball as well. When the loose ball breaks, it falls to an Arsenal man. He gets there. He clears the danger. It's just that absolute drive that's about Arsenal at the moment, just to keep the ball out. Like Leandro Trossard, I'm looking at some quotes he's given to Sky Sports there. He says, "We're really pleased with a win and another clean sheet. We need to keep it going, though. Lately, it has been like that. We have to keep patient throughout the game because we know we can score at any time. It would have been nice if we put the game to bed, but we're excited as well. When we get a set piece, we know we can score. It's hard to put a finger on it, why we're doing particularly well set pieces this season. But every season we learn more and more. We just want to win. We want to win every game." The thing today about the set piece, yes, it came from a set piece, but it wasn't a classic. It wasn't a delivered to the back post. Gabriel gets head on the ball, bang, goal. This was about actual individual quality, not so much about the set piece. It was just EZE's individual quality to turn that into a goal. Yes, it will go down as a set piece goal because it came from a sort of second ball from the free kick. But it was all about the actual individual quality of EZE to make that goal. It was a brilliant finish. Absolutely brilliant. It really, really was. So, yeah, fabulous win. Brilliant weekend. What a weekend it has been. Right, I'm going to go through some of my Arsenal player ratings. Now, I was doing a live stream today of the game because I didn't make it to the game because of family circumstances. So I thought it was quite a late decision. So I was, you know what, I'll do a live stream today. First time I've ever done one. Sort of a live watch along type thing of the game, which was lots of fun. Thank you to everyone who got involved in it. It was lots of fun doing it. But because of that, it's quite hard to really have a full attention on the game because you're, talking to people, interacting with people, bringing their comments up. But I'll do my best. So, and I will think about these, and probably I might, as I usually do for the sort of more in-depth ratings tomorrow, I might change the scores a little bit. But so I'll go David Raya. And I always get complaints from people about David Raya saying, "You're just giving David Raya a 6 every single game." But it's like, I don't know what else you can give him. He's not having to make any saves whatsoever. I mean, he did everything he needed to do well. He swept up, as he always does, playing that sweeper keeper role. He got Arsenal out of some difficult positions by just play. He was holding such a high line that... So he did all of that well, but I still feel like I can only give him a 6. And that's not me being harsh. It's just because he could basically be reading a book. So I'm just going to give him a 6 for this game. Sorry if that is annoying, but I am going to give him a 6. Jurrien Timber, I thought, was excellent. Jurrien Timber, really, really good. He's just such a brilliant player. But I thought he was good. I give Jurrien Timber an 8. I thought he's playing so well, defended so well, tried to get forward when he could. I give him an 8. Saliba, I'll give a 6. He went off at half-time, Saliba. Again, I don't know if it's illness or whatever it was, but I give him a 6. Mateta caused him some problems, which is understandable. So he's such a handful. He's so physically strong. And there was a couple of occasions Mateta got the better of Saliba in a sort of one-on-one duel. There were other times when Saliba got the better of Mateta. But he obviously went off at half-time. So I give Saliba a 6. Gabriel, I gave a 7. Obviously played. There was an injury doubt over him. He played. Was fine, hit the bar with a header. In the second half, could have gone close to scoring. Made one brilliant block in the first half. I can't remember who it was from. It might have been Sarr. I can't remember. But it was a brilliant block in the first half when Palace were threatening a little bit down the sort of right-hand side channel as they got into the penalty area. So he had a good performance, Gabriel. So I gave Gabriel a 7. Ricardo Calafiori, another strong performance from him. Obviously given a rest in midweek, back in the starting lineup today. Mars Lewis-Skelly on the bench, and it wasn't that sort of we didn't see him sort of driving forward as we've seen from Calafiori before. But I think a lot of that is because Crystal Palace is just a good team. Crystal Palace. I was really impressed by them at times during this game. Really caused, they went toe to toe with Arsenal. I saw a quote afterwards, after the game, from one of their players, can't remember who it was now, saying we've gone to toe with the best team in the country. And they did. I thought they were really, really impressive. Palace. Glasnow's done such a good job. And that, I think, limited Calafiori. There wasn't anywhere near as much space for him to run into because they were so well disciplined, Palace. But I gave him a 7. I thought he had a good game. EZE, I give a 7 for a 7. Obviously, it was his magic moment that won the game, which was brilliant. I thought in the first half an hour, he was really, really struggling. There was no space. And I thought he struggled a little bit in that. But obviously, it was his moment of magic that won this game for Arsenal. So I'm going to give EZE a 7. Zubimendi, I thought, was a bit off it. Certainly in the first half. I thought he was much better in the second half. Made some really, really good aerial clearances. Not just aerial as well, with his feet. As Palace pushed in that last 20 minutes, I thought Zubimendi was great in that situation. But I didn't think it was his best game. I thought in the first half especially, he was just a little bit off it. It wasn't the usual Zubimendi. It was a couple of giveaways that not really used to. He got turned a couple of times easier than he usually does. So I just didn't think it was Zubimendi's best game, having sort of bigged him up all week, how good he was. So I've given him a 6, Zubimendi. Rice, I thought, was good. Strong performance. Hopefully the injury's not too bad. Very, very close to scoring, of course, when Henderson made that save. Really strong arm because Declan Rice hit that very, very well. So I gave Declan Rice a 7. Tough day for Bukayo Saka. We don't know how fit Bukayo Saka was. We'll find out maybe a little bit from Mikel Arteta, but he looked like a player who was maybe playing within himself a little bit. I don't know if there's some sort of muscle tightness going on with Saka. Obviously, it looked like he might not have been involved in one of the training sessions this week in the build-up to the game. I thought Palace, though, they put 2 and 3 men on Bukayo Saka. He had no space to work with. It was almost like they were man marking him at times with either Mark Gahey or someone else was doing it. And yeah, it just caused Saka a lot of problems. There was no space for him. So I gave Bukayo Saka a 6. Gyökeres, I gave a 6 as well. Didn't have a sniff really in front of goal. Gyökeres throughout. There was just no chances created for him. It was one of those sort of games. He worked the channels very, very well at times, though. The chance that Trossard had in the first half, that all came from Gyökeres. There was a couple in the second half. Really good play towards the end of the game when he held the ball up, got the ball into the channels. Some good runs, showed his strength. It did a really good job for the team, but just didn't have any sort of sight in front of goal at all, really. So I gave him a 6. Trossard, I thought, had a good game, Leandro Trossard. I liked him, especially in the second half. From what I saw, I thought Trossard was lively, just had some quality about him. That touch he brought down over the shoulder and set up the chance he tried to get to Saka was really, really good. I just think he's in a good run of form at the moment, Leandro Trossard. So I gave him a 7. Substitute came on. Mosquera did really well, I thought, when he came into the defence at half-time. How was he going to do against someone like Mateta? And he did very, very well. I thought I gave Mosquera a 7. Martinelli and Hincapié came on. Marino and Lewis-Skelly. I'm not going to give those final 3 sort of marks. It was good to see Hincapié come on the pitch, by the way, which was nice. Valuable minutes, first Premier League minutes, in fact, for him as well. Martinelli couldn't really get into the game. I'll give Martinelli, I don't know, 6 when he was on, but he couldn't really get into the game. Man of the match is a tough one. I thought Trossard played well. I liked Trossard. I thought Declan Rice played well. I'd probably give it to Timber, though. I think Timber was probably my man of the match for this one. I just thought he played really, really well. Was so strong defensively. Tried to get forward when he could. So I'd probably say you're in Timber, my man of the match. But let me know your thoughts. If you disagree with those ratings, don't like them, let me know your thoughts, your opinions, anything like that. Get down into the comments below and I'll pull some of those together and get them included in tomorrow's show. But for now, I'm heading off. Feeling very good about myself. We're top of the league. We've got a 4-point gap, I think, at the top of the league right now. Liverpool have lost. Chelsea have lost. Man City have lost. Arsenal have won. Hopefully Everton can do a nice little job on Tottenham in the next 2 hours or so as well. Have a good end to your weekend, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again. Bye-bye. Come on, the Arsenal.